Hello, it's Pequala here. I'm here creating a speed build for you guys for the Federickson family. I did make a separate video. It's like a speed overcast for them. If you wanted to check it out, I will link it down below. So this build is inspired by the inspired by Chestnut Ridge that came with the expansion pack. The Horse Ranch expansion pack for The Sims 4. So typically, obviously a horse ranch farm type of deal. That's kind of what I went for. I did get some inspo just from Google, just because I really wanted like an L-shaped house. Again, I'm not perfect with building. For the many years that I've been playing The Sims, I never really started building until The Sims 4 came. And obviously, it's The Sims 4 is a lot easier with building, just with all the tools and everything makes it a lot easier in some way or form. I mean, there's definitely a lot of tricky stuff, but I never built like in The Sims 2 or The Sims 3. Like I always usually just downloaded houses and things like that from like online and stuff like that, and then downloaded into my game. But yeah, so overall, I mean, I was building this house, and when I build, I usually put like items into each of the rooms just to kind of give me an idea of how big that room is going to be. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Those items aren't, permanent. They'll eventually be replaced with something that obviously fits the build. Over time with building, I wasn't the best at the big builds. I was kind of intimidated, and that was another thing. I was intimidated by like Sims 2 and Sims 3 because it's a little harder, definitely more skill, I would say, to build that type of stuff. I mean, that's my opinion, I'm not really sure, but it was definitely over time always nervous. I was always nervous to build big builds because I was scared that I would get too overwhelmed, it'd be too big, what am I going to fill that space in, things like that. And I feel like a lot of builders or people who play Sims that I've seen on YouTube, they kind of have that issue as well. But it takes practice. It takes time over time, which is okay. And I was really happy with this build. I had a thought. I had like a view, an image, I should say, in my head, and it kind of came alive. With the L-shaped house kind of, and then the half wraparound porch, which I absolutely adore. And then I did want to incorporate the barn attached to the house. You can't enter the barn through the house. You have to go outside the house and then enter the barn that way, which is kind of what I was going for. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I did originally wanted to like have a little bit of foundation, but it didn't make sense with the horse going in and out. I don't think it's realistic for the horses to go up steps and then go into the barn. So I just stuck with it like that level, and then I did test it out. The horses can go in and out of the barn, no problem. But when you do, if you ever download this house, you do need to make sure that you do all the locks. So basically lock certain doors away from like horses and any other animals, just so that it's, again, realistic and that you don't have a bunch of horses and animals in your house. Well, animals that are not supposed to be. So I guess with the wallpaper, I wanted that woodsy log cabin feel to it, but I really love the stone because this family, the Federickson family, they have some money, and I feel like with this house, it has a lot of history. So it definitely, over time, the many generations, years that it was built, they updated it and upgraded it over time. I would call it more paneling, because I feel like usually if it's a log cabin, it's just a log cabin, there's no stone, but this is The Sims, so it's okay. So I just thought the stone like really gave it that accent and like that updated look, because again, this house just went through a lot of, let's say, different looks. So with the Federickson family, I'll kind of briefly go over them. Very big family, again, over generations with them. So starting off with Mama Rose. So Mama Rose is, she's the oldest. She's the elder. She's also a grandmother. We'll say she's like in her 70s type of deal. But she definitely does not act like it, for sure. So she's basically like, takes care of, this is her house. And she obviously took this house in from, let's say her parents and whatnot. So she definitely took really good care of her house, especially the ranch and everything. It grew over time. And she has her own garden, a very big garden that she grows all different types of produce and everything. This house does have the challenge of the simple living, along with other traits that I do put in later, and you can always change them. But I did like and just with cottage living, because I did incorporate those type of packs into this build because it just matched perfectly, especially with the horse ranch. Just everything, all that incorporates just worked great together. So she has her own garden, and they obviously use that produce that she grows to like use to cook and to eat and everything. And she obviously shown all her recipes and her tricks and tips to Shanice, who is the mother and the wife of the household. But yeah, I mean, she basically wakes up like 5 a.m. I mean, they all do, but she wakes up 5 a.m., goes into her garden, makes sure it's taken care of. She also helps around the horses on the ranch. She's cooking, in the house, in the kitchen that they have, as well. So, and she also cross stitches and she knits on the side, and she sometimes sells her stuff on Plopsy or to like the local markets, things like that. And then we have George Federickson, so Lieutenant George Federickson. So he's a lieutenant of Chestnut Ridge. He's a very strict father. He's the main provider as well. So he's just always making sure, he definitely helps around the horse. It takes a team effort. Obviously work and everything, he just works his butt off. So, coming home to everything that he has in store, and Shanice, his wife, kind of making his life a lot easier as well. But he's a very loyal sim. He really takes care of his family, and he will do anything for his family to keep them safe, as well as friends and neighbors nearby that definitely deserve it, as so he says. So he's very, he's always on top of things and just making sure that things are going well and that everyone's safe, for sure. And then we have Shanice, who is his wife, and she's the mother. So she is a bowl of energy. You kind of say like George and Shanice are kind of polar opposites, because George is very laid back, to himself kind of deal, and Shanice is life of the party. She always wants neighbors to come over. You're welcome. The door is open. There's pastries. There's dinner made for you there. If you don't eat it, that's a problem. So come hungry always. And yeah, she is the animal keeper. She's very nurturing. So with the kids and with the animals, she's always making sure that they're well taken care of. Just always making sure they're okay, and making sure that there's dinner made, breakfast made. That's just something no one makes her do it. She just does it because the kindness of her own heart, and she loves doing it. It's not like a chore for her, basically. We have her daughter, and George's daughter, Tasha, who's a teenager. She absolutely adores her horse, Pinecone, who's in this household as well. She wants to be a master in horse competition, so that's definitely her goal, and she works on those skills with Pinecone. Along with this build, as you guys can see, so adding little different things in there. This house, I feel like it really needed a pond. I'm not the best at making them, so I did download it. I will link the gallery ID down below, and I just zhushed it up and put some more flowers and rocks in there just to kind of make it more like it's been there a little while, but I just feel like it needed something in the front. And my idea was to basically, if you have to download the Rabbit Hut, or like put in that cheat, like enable hidden objects or whichever. And then I was thinking you could put it next to the pond. It's not like a deep pond, it's kind of like, I would say, shallow in a way. So you can either put that, and then you could put like the bird tree that came with cottage living as well. So you can kind of all put that there. It would look really nice. But yeah, so that's Tasha. And then for the child, Frankie, so he's the absolute sweetest boy. He helps with everything. The kids have such great manners just from being raised so well. And, having Grandma Rose around really helped too. But Frankie is an absolute animal enthusiast. Like, he's an animal whisperer. You know what I mean? Like, any animal that he sees, he has like amazing bond and relationship, especially the dog in the household, Magnus. So they're absolutely best friends. It's absolutely really cute, actually. And, Magnus, instead of laying in his bed, he'll be laying in Frankie's room constantly. And Magnus is a great protector. He was trained really well. So he's also always, like, guarding the farm and everything as well. But Frankie wishes and hopes to be a veterinarian one day, or manages his own clinic. He just wants to take care of animals, and from all around, cats, dogs, and then he will make sure the horses and everyone's okay and well fed, and that's just his dream. And he hopes to wish to, take over this farm. And that's kind of the goal with his family, is that, whether over time they do switch over to a different house, but this house has so much history and so much love into it that I feel like it's able to expand or upgrade over time with as generations go on, and they'll just, Tasha's kids, and she'll have her husband here, or maybe she'll move on, and then Frankie will probably take over the ranch and raise his family here with his significant other when he reaches that age, and that goal as he gets older. So there's a lot of different ways this family can go with this house, but this house is definitely really fun to play in. Obviously, as you can see, this is Mama Rose's garden, and she has her little greenhouse. A greenhouse is a must when you have seasons, just because anything produce-wise that you can't grow in a specific season, you just put it in the greenhouse and it will continue to grow. This is, as you can see, the animal, like with the animal huts for like llamas, cows, and then the chickens. I placed some prairie grass, although I don't think the cows and everything can physically eat them, because the prairie grass is like a live item. I mean, if they do, that's awesome, but I don't think they do. I just put it in for realism, of course. And that's another thing when I realized, when I was like playing this house a little bit just to get an idea and testing everything out, you do have to make sure that you lock the fences and everything, so your horses are not in with your cows. I mean, that's alright, but it's just so, it kind of works that way. But the last horse we have is Crimson, and that's George's horse. So Crimson is a beautiful horse. Looks very intimidating, but absolutely beautiful, and George raised him so well, and their bond is incredible. So it's absolutely amazing. Crimson's he senses who's bad and, who's not like a good person or whichever. So, he definitely helps George with that. It's like a team effort with them. But just adding some things around the house, if you guys were seeing, like with the foliage, I did cut out most of the foliage. Again, it's a little hard for me with the foliage. I try to get like ideas from outside of the house, like around the world, to kind of incorporate that around the house, so that way it fits. So I did cut some of that out, but I feel like it looked overall like pretty good. I didn't want to put too much, that way like it holds up a lot of space, but it's some stuff that again was put in and upgraded over time with Mama Rose planting and stuff like that. Here I'm putting in some benches. Now, I was trying to look for the benches that came with the horse ranch pack, but I couldn't find them. So I ended up putting those outdoor retreat ones, and I do change it later because I do find those benches later on. But around the porch, like, or patio, I do see Shanice and I do see Mama Rose, like, sitting on the rocking chair, sipping their coffee or their tea, and just kind of looking out to their ranch and just enjoying, you know, the wind coming through and just everything. Just absolute peace and just hearing their animals. And, you know, they live in, it's a quiet neighborhood, and I will link it down below which neighborhood, because off the top of my head I don't know, or I don't remember, but they live in that neighborhood, and it's very quiet, very private, so they are really surrounded by mountains. So it's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, the rocking chairs, just adding them to the front and the back, and then I added like this tea decor sitting there because, again, I just see them. And there is like a tea item. I think it came with the Wedding Stories pack, so you can place that as well if you'd like. I don't know if it can go on that end table, but just to kind of, I can actually drink tea, which is amazing, sitting on the rocking chair. I was going to add these flower beds, I guess you call it, I'm not sure, to the windows, but I'm just like, you know what, it's a little too much, because I added it to the window that's behind the rocking chairs, so I was like, you know what, it looks good, let me leave it at that, let me not overdo it. But yeah, I mean, the backyard's kind of simple. I was going to try and maybe add like a playground for Frankie, but I'm like, you know what, this is too much. Let me just add a dollhouse, or that dollhouse that came with the horse ranch pack. I added a little picnic area, some decorations, because, you know, I think with Frankie and stuff like that, you know, their biggest thing is obviously working on the ranch, and then when they're not working on the ranch, there's like you know, water right down the path there. If they leave their house and maybe they like play in the water, they fish, they're very outdoorsy people. So, and there's a swing there too. It's a very old-fashioned kind of house that's been upgraded, basically. I did add that grill that came with the horse ranch pack. I'm pretty sure it works as a regular grill. I think you can, you know, they came in new recipes that you can make as well. I did add in some lights. I cut it out kind of. I was just going around making sure that everything was lit up accordingly, or appropriately, I should say. And here I am. I think I'm going to start working on inside, and I'm just adding arches and everything. I was going to make this house like an open concept, because it's a mix for me. Like, I do like open concept houses, but I really wanted this house, because it was pretty big, I wanted it to not look too big and open. I wanted it to look lived in, cozy. Like, I feel like too big of a house, and that's what my fear is sometimes, is if I make it too big and I don't know. That's why I placed items there, so I know how big the room is going to be, because I don't want it to be too open, and, you know, it takes forever for Sims to get one place to another. But yeah, so I kind of like closed it in, and I just put archways, because I feel like that was, you know, that looks pretty good, and they just go through that way. And when it's closed in with the walls, it just looks a bit better. So I typically would I usually put the flooring in, and then I put the wallpaper, and then I put the furniture, and then if I have to, like, you know, change around the wallpaper, I do, based on what the furniture looks like, or if I can get an idea. And you'll see me do that as time goes on, but it just gives me inspiration when I put like the walls and the floors down, and then I figure out, okay, what furniture am I going to use? I mean, this build already has its own theme. I was mainly going for the horse ranch expansion pack, the cottage living, outdoor retreat. I went with seasons pack, obviously. I think there was maybe 2 items that I added that are from that party stuff pack, and you'll see, I'll say it later on so you guys know. But yeah, just adding in all the wallpaper. See, as I'm deleting those items. I never built a house like this. I definitely, and I never really work with this wallpaper because the type of builds I did, I never really did that. So it was cool to do something different. Kind of gives me that experience. The barn was really cool to make. I love that the Horse Ranch expansion pack gives you the option to not just buy a barn and place it. You're able to literally create it, which I thought was so awesome. It was really fun to make, like I said. So 2 stalls there for Pinecone and Crimson. And I wanted to make it a little bit more open so that way, Shanice does do nectar making as well. So I have a cellar downstairs. Because I think apparently I saw in like a video, I think it was James Turner video with the Horse Ranch expansion pack, that if you have a cellar like a basement, the nectar, I believe, ages faster or better or whichever. So that's kind of my thought process as well, how their money came about, is that they do sell nectar, and that's, they make it as well, and that's what Shanice does, another hobby she does. Not their main income, but you can make really good money by nectar making in The Sims 4. So that's why all those wine racks are down there, and then I put another like small one wine rack in the barn, just because maybe when neighbors or they have people over, they could just grab that wine, and then downstairs that wine they either sell or they save for like very special occasions type of deal. So you'll see that as well. Those barn doors too, I absolutely adored for the barn, and that what it came with, the open, with the barn windows, the window doors. Oh my goodness, absolutely adored it. It was really nice to have that. But yeah, just adding in like little extra details. This build was it took me a while. Again, I'm not quick with the building, but I just wanted to make sure the details were there to make it like realistic and lived in, and I didn't want to miss out on an item either. You'll see me kind of, what I like to do is I'll go into like the styled rooms and I'll choose items like from a specific pack, and you can choose certain items and click it and literally it'll show up, and then you can place it, and I just love using that tip so that way I don't miss out on items that can really make a big difference in builds. But the living room, it's semi-small. I mean, it didn't have to be too big. I was debating whether to put a TV, like a flat screen TV there in that window area, but I'm like, no, it needs a fireplace. I ended up changing that to stone so that way it matched on the other side. I do put like a small TV in that corner to the right there, just so that maybe like George watches the news or like upcoming show or anything, but they're not tech people, obviously. Like, again, they're always outdoors. They're not big, they're not on their phones and stuff like that. I feel like this family is more of, they spread the word by literally going into town or whichever, Obviously, like Tasha and Frankie over time, let's say, like they have a cell phone because, it's in the time, in that century. But they're not tech people. They're always outside, or just enjoying each other's presence without the TV. They're either playing board games or whichever. I have the chess table out on the patio because they'll play that as well. This entranceway, just making kind of simple. I always add an umbrella rack to an entranceway, as well as a thermostat, and those came with seasons. Very important. I feel like it just always looks, or it makes sense to have it in the entranceway. I don't know. But with the living room, I mean, with the couches and everything, it looked really good. I didn't want to do those, like, the printed theme, like the cow theme and stuff like that, just because I don't know the logic behind that. Maybe it's faux, but still, I don't know. I just feel like it didn't really go. I just wanted to make it as neutral as possible, I guess, so to speak. But yeah, so adding in a lot of like end tables, knickknacks. Again, I feel like as they collected over time, like especially Mama Rose and her late husband, which was George's father. They collected over time, they kept it there. That's why when you come in this house, it's a lot to look at, and again, it has a lot of history and behind it. This is George's study room, or office, I should say. I mean, that's really the only tech thing. It's like an ancient, so to speak, typewriter. I don't know. Not really typewriter, but I forgot which pack it came with. But it just fit the build so much, so well. But very simple. It's a little small, but like I said, not in there too much. He likes to play guitar too, so I was just adding some aspects that, fits his personality. The rugs too were sometimes can be a little hard, but just so limited on rugs. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there definitely should be a lot more variety, but the dining room, I always love to have like big windows so natural light comes in, because the lighting in The Sims 4 is amazing. I do have some lighting mods in to kind of enhance it a little bit more, but it's absolutely like I just love having the open windows and the big windows and the natural light coming in. I do change those like china cabinets because the Horse Ranch pack did come with their own. So I was like, although these look really nice, I want to stick with a pack. And of course, adding in more knickknacks here and there. But yeah, and just adding some wall lighting. I'm happy with how the build came. Sometimes you have an idea and you're like, oh my god, like why isn't this working? But this just came so natural, and it helps. It really does help when you have a family in mind already that's gonna live there. You know what I mean? So, and here I am changing them now. And there is some like wall decor, like shelving, storage things that it was storage that I saw, and I was like, oh my god, I have to add that. And I didn't even know it came in with the pack, but it like fit it so perfect. So I added those in. That bar is the one that came with, I think, with the, was it party, or it was something like a fancy item pack. So I had to add that in. I wanted to add in like a regular bar, but I just feel like that one just fit it so perfectly, and especially for George, But working on the kitchen, I love working on kitchens. I think it's so fun. I was like hesitant on what swatch I wanted to do with everything, but overall I think it looked pretty good. Again, with the appliances, it's definitely upgraded, but it's not like 100%. But that stove, let's say, an oven went through a lot, and it's still working great. Out of all like the repairs it needed, it's beat in from all the cooking that they do. Literally always dinner made, always pastries, sitting out, for the kids to eat, or any, like I said, friends, neighbors that come over, always there. You're always welcome. But yeah, so adding in some more details, making sure I add in trash cans, because that's one thing that you could really forget, to be honest. Just adding Magnus' little food bowl and some decor. I found these beautiful wall decor. It used to be one swatch, but then The Sims 4 updated it, and I absolutely, with more swatches, and I absolutely was like, oh my god, it couldn't fit any better with this family. It just adds, again, more history to the build. But yeah, so dishwasher, another upgrade, all that. I recorded myself decorating building the bathroom, like the one, but all of them really look the same. Either it's with a tub, a shower, they all pretty much look the same for the most part. So this is Mama Rose's room. So I try to make it easier for her, so she just exits the room, exits the back door outside and then goes right to her garden. Although she would choose walking a mile over just a couple of steps, just still wanted to make it a little bit easier for her, and so she doesn't have to walk down the steps. I wanted to make sure that her bedroom was downstairs. So the rooms are really simple. Her room is really simple, but just wanted to kind of make it her own. This bedroom here is George and Shanice's room. So they have the master bed with the master bath. So I really wanted to give them like this royal bed. I was gonna try to like do it with like a wood frame, but I just feel like they deserve to have a really royal bed, especially with George and everything, and Shanice always bending her back and working out on the farm. I think they deserve like the best bed and the best sleep that they could possibly get. With the dresser, so I guess like that would be George's dresser, and then I make a little separate dresser for Shanice. Another thing you could add like in that little corner is like a walk-in closet, because I definitely see them having it, but I just didn't add it here. Instead, like you'll see me adding a vanity, which I put right there, which is another item from one of the stuff packs. So that I would say like that's Shanice's vanity. She wakes up in the morning, she even puts lipstick on for the animals when she's taking care of them, not for the animals, but when she's taking care of the animals. That's her morning routine, is putting her lipstick on, some eyeshadow. She gets done up for the day, just makes her feel really good, just like Mama Rose. She does kind of the same thing a little bit, but this is kind of like a little private hallway that they have right into their bedroom. But again, you can make it into something else. I put that grandfather clock because I really wanted to incorporate it in the house. I just didn't know where. So we're on to Tasha's bedroom. She's a teenager. I made it again very simple, very bright. You'll notice upstairs is a lot more brighter. Kind of making it for the kids and it being the most upgraded for the house. I do have an extra bedroom. It's more of like a storage room, but if you do download this house, you can make it into another bedroom or whatever you want to make it. You can open it up however you'd like to do it. But Tasha's room, again, that's some cottage living wallpaper. I put some horses, like wall decor on there because it just fits so perfectly for her. Little desk for her to do her homework and whatnot. The kids are really good with, doing their homework and doing their responsibilities. Not sure what she wants to do career-wise, but, she'll develop that and you'll find that out for her over time. This is Frankie's room, the child. So again, I made it very fun, very simple. That vet sign, I know it's like literally like a veterinarian clinic sign, but it gives him some inspiration pretty much. When he's sitting there on his desk, drawing, creating, or doing his homework, he kind of just looks at it because that's just really his goal. He can't wait. Those little rugs that came with the horse ranch, it's more of like a nursery rug, but I just thought they look so cute. And that outdoor retreat little rug as well just fits so perfectly. Adding in like little extras. He loves to create and draw. He'll draw all different types of animals. Definitely, like if you show him what animal is this, he'll know right off the bat, and it could be literally like anything, like a bird or anything. He'll know exactly what it is. But adding just a little more personality around his room, making it just his own. I didn't add a toy box just because I like the aspect of, or the concept of toys being left out. And then if you add a toy box, there's Sims always putting the toys away. That little statue of Magnus, I thought it was just like absolutely perfect because that fits it so perfect. Magnus and Frankie are best friends, so it came with cats and dogs, and I just thought it fit so perfectly. I added a living space upstairs. I didn't really know exactly what to do with the space, but I feel like it's a little bit more free up here because there's less knickknacks. The kids can really like play, and Frankie can maybe have some friends over and they can kind of just like play upstairs without knocking anything over, so that way Mama Rose isn't really upset or mad. So they'll play some board games, or I do end up, instead of that science table, I take it out and I put a piano, the standing piano that came with the pack. Absolutely love it. So I did take that out if you ever want to add it in. You obviously can. I added in that aquarium. I just felt like it'd be perfect. But yeah, I feel like this upstairs is more lively for the kids to have fun and kind of not after hours or after 9 o'clock, because they'll probably wake Mama Rose up, but just being a little bit more lively and free and not worrying having to break something or anything. But yeah, we're surely going to come to the screenshots, so kind of just let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you want to download it, will be on the gallery at Pequala Sims. And let me know what you think as far as like the outside or anything, if you have any suggestions for future builds or future families. And if you like, because I absolutely love this family and I love the house, and if you love to see like a let's play or something of me playing, I'll definitely think of something and figure out with doing that. Just definitely let me know. But yeah, I'm really happy with how it came out, and the entranceway and all. But yeah, just enjoy the screenshots. Again, let me know down in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos, definitely subscribe, like, and just comment. Let me know. Anyways, I'm going to skedaddle, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.